This is now the 4th time we featured the F-150 here on Test Drive. So I mean, we're kind of mixing things up a little bit here, keep it fresh for you. But last year we featured the 2019 F-150 Platinum with the 3-liter Power Stroke turbo diesel engine. So we talked a little bit about what was new for 2019 then, but now we've got the big boss, we've got the Limited here with the new high output 3.5-liter engine. Now it's not new for the truck, but it's new for this trim. It was originally on the Raptor and the Lincoln Navigator that we featured last year. But not only is this the top-end truck that we're going to be featuring today, but I've also driven the other trucks in the competing segment. We had a chance to go into the Ram, not only the 1500 Limited, but the 1500 Rebel. And then we also did the GMC Sierra Denali and the Chevrolet Silverado High Country. So I've had a chance to drive all of the vehicles that I would say compete with this. And I gotta say that even after driving all of that, and even though the Ram 1500 is technically better in pretty much every way, when it comes to ride comfort, when it comes to seat comfort, technology, all of that, I'm still taking the F-150, especially with the Limited. So come on here, I'm gonna show you what's a little different about this over some of the other trucks from the Ford F-Series lineup that we've done. The Limited is the boss. If you're on the road and you've got this truck, you're king. The only other vehicle that can compete with this for the king of the jungle is an F-250 Limited. So this is a really nice looking truck. We've got it in ruby red. It's about a $400 option to have this color. I think it looks really nice, and a lot of the dealers here in Quebec seem to have one of these in stock. So if you're looking for this exact truck, chances are you're going to find it. But this pretty much comes fully loaded. There are a number of options on this to bring the MSRP to nearly $85,000 Canadian. And again, before people start getting in the comments, oh, nobody's gonna pay that, you're right. This truck today, if you were to buy it on whatever day it is, July 17th, 2019, there's about $14,000 in discounts and rebates before even negotiating at the dealer level. So don't worry, you're not gonna be paying 85 grand for this truck, but for the price you get a lot with it. So full LED headlighting, power folding mirrors, you have the running lights on the side to be able to, or work lights rather, automatic deploying running boards on the side, the little kick boards on the side to get into the bed as well, the easy access bed, everything. You've got the whole shebang when it comes to the F-150 Limited. But why are you gonna buy it? You're the boss, right? Get the Platinum, yeah, it's not bad, it's a good truck, but this is the best one to get. And again, that engine is the real key why this one is so much better than even in 2018. You're getting that power. 450 horsepower, 510 pound-feet of torque. It is class leading when it comes to any light-duty pickup truck. There's nothing else on the market at this time that has that level of power for the price. So let's jump inside. I want to talk about a couple of the features on there, and we'll take it on a road test and go over everything else you need to know about the new F-150 Platinum. So there's a couple things that are different on this. Again, I mean, we've talked about the F-150 so many times now. Even though the interior maybe isn't as advanced as something like the Ram 1500 Limited, it's still very functional. Everything in here has an aura of quality to it. The seats are also different for 2019 with this two-tone leather design, very unique for this. Can't get it with any other trim, and I think it looks really good, especially with the brown steering wheel, brown leather dashboard. Has a very nice contrast to it. Feature-wise, the truck comes fully loaded as well. You have heated and ventilated front seats with front massage, heated outboard rear seats, dual zone automatic climate control, Ford's Sync 3 with navigation, Sirius XM, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a 360-degree camera. That's the only thing I'd say is a little lacking on this. The quality of the cameras aren't that great, or maybe it's the resolution on the screen itself could be improved. We'll probably see that with the next generation F-150. But also one of the changes for 2019 on the Limited is the suede headliner. It is a nice touch, again, similar to what you get on the Ram 1500 Limited, but it adds just a second level of luxury to this vehicle on top of the really nice leather interior. And yeah, I mean, the rest of it is hard plastic, but it is still a pickup truck. It's meant to be durable. But you don't care about any of that, because if you're watching this video, chances are you already know everything there is to know about the F-150. You want to see this truck in action. It's a very crisp morning here in Quebec, and I gotta say it's actually really nice to be filming for a number of reasons. First of all, there's hopefully going to be nobody on the road at 6:30 in the morning, but also most people who are buying pickup trucks for work are going to be probably up and on the road at 6:30 in the morning. Maybe not necessarily the boss, and that's the person who's going to be buying the Limited, but it still gives us a good chance to talk about what this truck has to offer. And I said that this is the boss's truck. Really, it's the CEO. It's the guy who's in charge of your whole company is going to drive this. And why do I say that? Other than the fact that the MSRP is at pretty much $85,000 Canadian, but also it doesn't have the most towing and payload. Now, towing capacity actually isn't too bad. It's 11,100 pounds according to Ford's website. You can get better towing with the non-high output 3.5 liter EcoBoost V6. However, the payload is 1,530 pounds with the limited, 1,200 if you have the Raptor, which has the same engine. The 3-liter Power Stroke turbo diesel V6 we had a payload of 2,020 pounds, and the regular 3.3-liter V6 comes in between at 1,990 pounds, making this specific setup the lowest payload across the current F-150 lineup. So you aren't going to be able to put as much in this truck as you can with pretty much any of the other ones out there, and even like the 3-liter Power Stroke turbo diesel that we had before, that actually has much better payload and a little bit better when it comes to towing. So it depends on what you're doing. The towing should be fine though at 11,000 pounds. The things that people are going to be doing with this type of truck should be fine with it. And I mean, if you really absolutely need to do more, you're going to go up to the Super Duty anyway. But for an F-150, this is really good. And I said it at the beginning that I would take this over the Ram 1500 Limited that we did. It's true. I mean, the Ram is better in so many ways. I mean, the seats are so comfortable, even though there is no massage feature. You have great ride suspension with that air ride. And I mean, the interior just feels a lot more modern. This definitely has shown its age. I mean, it's only been out since 2015, but I believe we featured it 2015, and then we've done subsequent versions of it. So not that it feels bad, but I have done this interior before. When you compare it to the Ram, it doesn't feel as modern. You compare it to the Chevrolet, and it does feel modern because the Chevy interior, along with the GMC, just ain't all that exciting. But here it's really nice, and one of the things I really do like about this is the brown steering wheel. You have the brown leather dash area and around the center, plus the steering wheel. It's a small touch that really makes it stand out. Now you saw some of our little launches there. This truck can pick up speed pretty quick. I mean, 450 horsepower is definitely class leading. Same with 510 pound-feet of torque for a light duty pickup truck. You're not going to get more than that from Ford, which is good. And it should be that way. This is a very good engine, especially if you are looking for performance, which I mean doesn't normally go with the trucks. People do like them, but I mean most people are buying these for a logical reason. You know, they're using it for work, but it is nice to have that power. It sounds pretty good when you're inside the truck. Not so bad on the outside. I mean, we got some good clips of it. But it really feels like artificial sound is being pumped into the cabin, because when the windows are open, you hear massive amounts of turbo spool. It's amazing, but that's about it. When the windows are closed, things get a little bit more grunty. Let me give you an idea of the turbo. I don't know if you can hear it on the microphone, but when we go from our stop here, you might be able to hear it. I apologize if you don't. I'll hear it though. Yeah. Oh, it just sounds like a diesel. I love it. But I always enjoy driving these trucks. Since why I booked them, I feel that there's a good need out here in Quebec for these vehicles to be featured. Again, we're hoping to do the Super Duties and the heavy duty trucks from GM and FCA. They're not on the fleet yet, but we are doing our best to get those for you. But I like driving them because it gives me an opportunity to see how these vehicles perform and what you would actually get out of something on a daily driving basis, because I can't really tow stuff. I mean, that might be something down the road, but the idea is for a daily driver, it's still pretty good. It has tons of space on the inside if you're going to be driving your family around, going back and forth to school and stuff, and then you've got all that capacity when it comes to payload and towing, that you can get things done on the weekend if you want to have some fun. You go up to the cottage, you do some sporting events, you want to take maybe a small trailer with some ATVs or little jet skis, things like that. You're going to have not only a super comfortable time doing it, but you're going to have the capabilities to do it to it. I mean, that's why the F-150 is still the best-selling truck in Canada. We're now on the 52nd consecutive year of that. There's a reason for it. And that's the way that you can look at the 2019 Limited. It can be sort of the suit for the Raptor, because with the Raptor you have super off-road capabilities. I mean, that vehicle is truly designed to be going off-road, and with the performance of this engine. But if you really wanted something that you can live with on a daily basis on the streets, not as wide, looks pretty much like any other F-150 on the road, but has that same engine and that same level of prestige, you now have that option. And I think it was a smart move for Ford to be able to put this engine in the top end line. It's only available on the Limited, and you can only get this engine with the Limited, which means if you wanted to have the diesel, you got to go down to the Platinum. And truthfully, I mean, you're not losing much. There's very little that you lose over the Platinum, except that prestige, and that's part of the reason why you're buying a vehicle like this. Give it a nice rip. I mean, that's the thing. It's really fun, especially when it gets into the right gear and goes. And I was joking all week, you know, it is a twin turbo setup, so you are going to have some turbo lag, and I've been joking that Ford has alleviated all the turbo lag by introducing massive amounts of transmission lag. That's the one thing you find. We're in 10th right now. If I throw it down, you know, it takes a second for it to get into the right gear, but I had just done that, so it kind of knew where it should be. But most of the time, it's taking a couple seconds for it to get into the gear it's supposed to be in, especially if it's in sport mode. I find it's worse in sport mode when it comes to actually being able to get it into the right gear. So for example, oh yeah, that's good. That was in the right gear because we were from a stop. But if I were to let it run up to maybe 8th and then jump it down, it's going to take a little bit. Other than that though, the transmission is incredibly smooth if you're using it normally. If you're not running it up to the red line, you almost can't feel the shift. Really nice. So here we go, we're in 6th. If I drop it down, oh, it's still going into 3rd, man. It's ready, it knows. Oh yeah. Oh, it sounds good on the inside here, I'm telling you. They are faking it. That's like half acceleration. Get up to speed very quick with this for a truck. I mean, it's not like Hellcat fast, but it does get the job done. Oh, the turbo spool. Boost pressure on this never gets old. I mean, it legitimately sounds like that Power Stroke diesel we had for the turbos. Obviously, the engine's completely different. But when the windows are open, especially if you're in town. If you're in town with some nice echo, you can hear that blow off. You can hear the turbo spooling up, and it sounds great. I really like it. Mixed with the engine in the right circumstances can sound very good through the exhaust, but it means a V6, right? And that's the complaint that people have who are like super truck people. They think that the only engine you should have is a V8, especially when it comes to the sound. But I mean, this is certainly more than capable, and I think the sound is all right. It's good enough. I am happy with it. Puts a smile on my face. And fuel efficiency doesn't hurt too. I mean, we have not done very well this week. I mean, we've been doing a lot of in-town stuff and quite a bit of sport mode, just for fun. 14.6 liters per 100 kilometers. I don't know what that is in miles per gallon. I'm sorry. I'm obviously driving right now. I don't have that ability to change over and figure it out. But the point is, I mean, it ain't cheap to be running this in sport mode. Eco mode's probably going to be a heck of a lot better, especially if you're using this for real things. You're actually doing something productive with it. Instead of me, I've just been driving around and enjoying driving around and enjoying having my massage seats on with this truck. Now I get it that some people just aren't going to get these vehicles, especially our viewers outside of North America, where these vehicles really just don't exist. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed what we're doing. It's a little different. that we usually do here on Test Drive, but considering this is the only vehicle we featured now 4 times, I don't even think I've featured my E38 7 Series 4 times in specific episodes of Test Drive. So, I mean, we needed to really mix things up a little bit to keep it interesting. So let me know what you thought of this episode of Test Drive Snapshot. If there's anything that we could do to improve, obviously we want to be able to do more truck testing that actually shows these vehicles for what they can do. We're not quite at that point yet, but if there's other things that we can show off in future episodes, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already.